Well, hello, everybody, and happy Monday. I do hope this Monday has brought you nothing but good things so far. And I am delighted to tell you you're listening to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7 FM. I am Kathy Holmes. I'm your host, and with me is a dear friend. Jennifer Baker's in the Zoom booth with me today. Welcome to the program, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you doing, honey?
I'm excellent too. And I love that you're so excellent. That is like the best part of the day. Let's bring excellent to our communities today.
Yeah.
Jennifer, you've been doing some really great health related stuff in the last few years, and you have been on the program before. You're a reoccurring guest. And of course, most recently, you were on our latest Act 3 on Now Rogers. And so, I think you've given people a tiny little taste, but for those listeners who haven't had a chance yet to find out about you and what you do, how about you give us a little bit of a summary of some of those wonderful things?
Awesome. Yes, the doing the Rogers Act 3 was really really exciting. It's the first time I'd ever done anything like that. So I thank you for that as well.
Pleasure.
Um my business is called On Track Wellness. I have just started that name, just really getting more focused on the wellness part of it. I've always been doing it, but I really wanted to put a name to my business, so that people could really see the different things that I'm doing. Because at one point, I was just doing raindrop massage. And then through the years, I've done research on crystal healing, working with Reiki, working with astrology, lots and lots to do with the healing of essential oils. I'm also an oracle card reader. So there's just like, I have quite a few different things. A pendulum dowser under my umbrella now. So
Wow.
I just couldn't be called Raindrop anymore. I had to actually give myself a name. So I am On Track Wellness.
So on track wellness, I know I've known you for a few years. So I know that there was a time in your life when you realized that you were just not feeling good in your body. You were not feeling good about the things that were happening for you at the time, and you made some really significant changes to your life. How about we share a little bit about what that process was like with you, especially when it comes to the raindrop piece, because I think that that was your entry level, correct?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Restaurant hospitality industry for a very long time, predominantly my whole life, my working career, and it just became so stressful that I wasn't doing well. I was on so much medication and sleeping pills, anxiety, depression, and hormone medication, and it just was not serving me. So I decided to get out of the hospitality industry, and I had no idea that this is where I was going. None. If you had asked me, I would have probably gone, "Are you crazy?" Because it was just not, wasn't in my ballpark, right?
No. Yeah.
So my best friend, Heidi, introduced me to Young Living essential oils and just started with two, one for sleep and one for hormones. So I started with that. And then when I left the hospitality industry, I knew I had to do something different. So I decided to jump into Young Living, and I went to three harvests and learned how to everything about essential oils, like cutting down the trees and distilling them, learning everything about the constituents of essential oils. And I don't know, it just really sparked something in me. And in every single harvest, one day is a training for Raindrop Technique. So that is where my healing journey started. I got rid of all the chemicals in my body,
Mhm.
my household, and went completely chemical free with Young Living, because they have lines of like everything, makeup, cleaning, kids, like everything, toothpaste, deodorant.
Mhm.
And that was the beginning of learning to do things differently, because if you don't know any better, you just continue doing what you're doing. And
Totally.
once I knew better,
Yeah.
then I had to do better.
So I want to talk about that, just that little piece of it, because I think when our listeners hear, you kind of go from one, part of living, a way of living, not part of living, but a way of living. And then you really relatively quickly do a shift and like go chemical free and all of that stuff. Did you notice that you had any natural or unnatural resistance to this change?
Of course.
Yeah.
When you do it, like I started probably being, I was maybe 53.
Hmm.
And if you've been doing it this way, with chemicals for a long time, and you don't really know that there is so much products out there that can honor your body better, and it's hormones, like the chemicals really mess with your hormones, so that can go from young age, and then it builds, right, because you keep putting it on you and more and more and more and more, and cleaning with um bleach and all of the things that we were kind of taught.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely. Yeah, we were
yeah,
taught it wasn't clean unless you actually used some of those harsher things. Vinegar was about like on the edge. Like if you
yes,
were a vinegar user, whoa, right? That's not really cleaning anything, is
and
it? Right?
yeah,
So yeah.
interesting, because like the chemical free cleaners, they don't foam up, right,
Mm-mm.
like you're
That's right.
it's the same stuff, so you're kind of like, oh, is this really clean? And
Exactly. Because you don't
it,
see the foam.
that's right, and it tastes different, it looks different, but once you've done it long enough and you start to feel better in many ways, yeah, like you don't want to go back, and granted, it's expensive, it's going to cost more to have a better product, but that's in everything, like that's good makeup, good jewelry, good
Everything. Everything.
art. it
Yeah.
it you pay for, right, and so you're basically, for me, it was just worth it
Yeah.
to, look at doing something a little bit different. And I'm an all in kind of gal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I also think that at the end of the day, like anything else, it's front end loaded for long-term results. So yes, it's true. There may be some difference in cost effectiveness for you in the beginning for changing out all of those cleaning products and everything like that. However, most of the time they're concentrated, most of the time they last a lot longer and they save you money in the long run. So there is the upside to kind of going through things a little bit differently. So
Well, and
once you, oh, go ahead.
stay out of the medical system. Like
Oh,
if
exactly.
whatever you can do to stay out of the medical system is going to be better in the long run.
For everyone, for community, for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. So did you find that the results that you were starting to see in those early days were immediate, or were you seeing gradual progress turning into, really a whole, like if you could look back on your 53-year-old self now to when to from then to now, how did you navigate those changes? Was it a huge, obvious change, or were there subtle little intricacies that you started to note?
I don't think it was immediate for me. I think
Mhm.
it was enlightening to be
Yes.
educated. I think that once you start to change over, it will take a little bit of a process of a time. But for me, it was getting more educated about it. I love that. I'm a Gemini rising, and Geminis really, really love to research, and they really like information.
Yeah.
I didn't know that back then, but
But now that you've gone into the astrology piece of
I
things,
know.
have you seen how things start to make sense to you, lining up your world as a result
Oh,
of not only the study, but just boing, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So I think that, yeah, that I think that's it. So when you're now actually taking control. So now you've gone and said, I now going to take control of this.
yeah.
And I know that the results are going to come. I know that they're going to be better. I know it's going to help balance my estrogen and my progesterone and my testosterone better, because my hormones now have a better chance without all of the chemicals messing with the body.
Yeah.
And I think also too, a really key point was is that when I got out of the hospitality industry, it was building back my endocrine and the adrenals particularly, because when you're under a huge amount of stress, you have adrenal burnout. And when you start to realize that that has also to do with the chemicals in your body, you're now taking ownership of what you're doing.
I think a lot of people are curious about adrenals. We hear it as a buzzword that goes around in health circles all the time. We know that if we have poor adrenals, that we're exhausted and we're tired, but I don't know whether or not we really understand the importance of our adrenals in our everyday life.
Mhm. Well, if you think about, if you constantly work something over and over and over and over again, it will start to break down. So your endocrine system basically starts with your pituitary gland and your
Hmm.
pineal gland,
Hmm.
and then that runs the rest of the endocrine. So
Yes.
the adrenals are the ones that really deal with stress.
Yeah.
And depending on where you're at with that, if you
Yeah.
put too much stress on them and wear them down, they're not going to work very well. And with that is where you get energy from. So if your adrenals are working really well, you're going to feel like getting up and going for a walk and going swimming or going to the gym and feeling bright. But when they're down, that you're kind of going to go into kind of like even an adrenal depression, right?
Mm.
I want to get out of bed. I'm tired. How many times do we
Yes.
hear from people, I'm tired?
Yes, and I'm glad that you pointed that out because I think in certainly in our age group and our circle of friends, I hear that a lot and I feel like I'm too young, even though I'm 62, or I'm not 62, I'm 60, right? Um, I too feel really, I wouldn't say that I feel exhausted or tired. I just feel a little bit worn out. And yet inside my spirit, my brain, all of that says, I'm a young punk. I'm having trouble with that navigation,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's going to go just basically into menopause, right? So menopause is going to change us in, because we don't have the estrogen that is really what kind of keeps us going, what keeps women really moving and raising children and doing jobs and cleaning the house and doing all the stuff. As
Yeah,
that estrogen starts to come down, you will now feel a little bit more tired and all that. So if you put the adrenal burnout and menopause together, now you got brain,
yeah.
I'm tired. My self-esteem is not as great because I don't feel like the same young lady that I once could do everything. So
Yes,
like you start combining those things together and not eating properly and putting chemicals into your body, and it's like, it not to critique anybody, because my lord, this is a lot of stuff to have to learn. And when you're tired, the last thing you want to do is use your brain to be learning new things, because you're done. I just
absolutely.
want to watch some TV because
Zone out.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
working all day. I mean, we don't get to a certain age where we're tired and then all of a sudden we get to just stay home and not do the things, right? So there's a lot. The adrenals are just one component of that endocrine system that we really need to keep super healthy.
So I'm glad that we're now at that place for the endocrine system in our conversation because I know that recently you started advancing your skill level as it relates to endocrine massage. Is that correct? Have I got that put together? How about you share with us a little bit about what that all means?
Okay, so 6 years, 6.5 years, going chemical free, doing Raindrop, learning all the things about energy, because that's what we are. We are
Mhm.
energy, and
Energy, for
everything
sure.
is needs to be energy based and keeping things flowing well. So when you're doing the Reiki and you learn about the chakras, um, and the Raindrop is all energy, essential oils, but with all of my clients, which I would say 95% are females, I kept on getting, I'm tired. My hormones. Oh, oh, you're back.
Yeah, no,
And
you're good.
yeah, and then so what I did, sorry, Kathy, I'm just gonna move this for a second.
Yeah, no worries. Actually, while you're doing that, let me just let people know. For those of you who are listening, we are recording this over Zoom so that people can watch it a little bit later on. And so every now and then we get these technical issues. So if you hear noises in the background, or you hear sirens going off, or the bell that comes up, or the shaking of the desk, or any of those things, don't worry about it. It's all part of the experience. So anyway, where we were, thank you, my friend.
So so yeah,
Jennifer Baker. Yeah.
I just kept on hearing a lot of my clients talking about hormones and being tired. And
Hmm.
so what I did is I just literally I have this big huge Bible of essential oils.
Hmm.
So I looked up the endocrine, I looked up hormones, and I looked up chakras. And I just came up with 9 different essential oils that
Oh.
I could use to do a massage. And the reason that this massage, basically, I kind of thought, what are the things that I like in a massage? Because Raindrop is proprietary to Young Living. So it's the same oils, it's the same technique always. But endocrine, I got to make this. I got to decide what I wanted. So that was great. And then I just literally every oil that is in this massage will balance off one of the endocrines, and it will also balance off one of the chakras.
Which is your favorite, or do you have one?
No, I don't have a favorite. Oh, that's not true. I mean, Raindrop's going to be my favorite because, of
Oh, for
course,
sure.
it has been in my life for so long, and it's how I kind of got started in this. But endocrine, I think, is going to be the most popular
Mhm,
because people can understand hormones. They don't really
mhm.
understand what Raindrop means. Now, I get tons of testimonials from the people that have Raindrop, but again, it's not traditional. It's a little bit off the beaten path, Raindrop. And you got to kind of understand that people are going to want to go to an RMT, and they understand that. So I'm just building by testimonials. I'm building by doing things like this, trying to get
Hmm.
my face in front of as many people as I possibly can so that I can honor being a healer.
I think that you're on to something for lots of reasons. First of all, I couldn't agree with you more that there is a part of our bodies when we notice the change in our wellness. And I do feel that you know, as we age, some of those really essential elements of our energy get lost, and I don't know if they necessarily are fully lost or if they're redirected in other hormones or in other ways throughout our body. But I do know that when those vessels have been opened, right, then that energy can surge in. I mean, I have to tell you, Jennifer, I have known you for quite a long time, and I watched you be quite a heavy set woman to a slim, energetic, let's go, let's get this done. Like your energy level from the time when you were in the restaurant business to where you are now 6 years later, you're not the same human at all. Not at all. In a good way, in a wonderful way. By the way, you were fabulous back then. You're fabulous now. You were fabulous back then. But I think that there's something quite wonderful about getting a handle on what's going on within our body, and then
Yes.
trying to work with the energies within our body to make our lives better, because it affects so much of our everyday business of living, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. And yeah, I'm different because I've just taken a different approach because
Yeah.
I only knew the hospitality industry. I started in it when I was 16. It's all I knew. And I and it's if anybody who's listening has been in that industry, especially in management or ownership, yeah.
Mm,
But
it's a
I
bit stressful, to say the least.
yeah, and you know what? I think that the thing about me now too is that I don't want to stop here. I want to learn more. Like
Yes.
I want to do maybe reflexology and hot stone massage and keep adding things to my business that I can just keep getting people, right? Like, so, and we know that with Epicure, because I do Epicure as part
Mhm.
of my wellness umbrella, that's the same thing. It's getting good, clean food into your body that doesn't have as much sugar in it, as much salt in it, and not processed. So that's the other element of being healthy.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I'd like to live for a good long time. So any opportunity we can to find solutions for wellness
Mhm,
is a good thing.
mhm,
I'm going to take
mhm.
a quick station identification here. We're about the halfway mark of our program right now. If you have just tuned in, you are listening to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7 FM right here in beautiful Nanaimo. Although we welcome you if you're listening to us in Duncan or Up Island or across the Sunshine Coast. We're always so grateful that you're listening to our program. Listen, I got a couple of other things I want to share with you right at the moment. So please go grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen because Jennifer Baker, who's our guest today from On Track Wellness, is going to give you information on how you could reach her, how you can follow her on Facebook, and listen to some of the wonderful podcasts that, or I don't know if they're podcasts, but little blips that she has on Facebook. They're really, really wonderful. So very educational and a lot of fun. So go grab that piece of paper. While you're busy doing that, I'm hoping you're still in earshot. We do invite you, if you haven't already contributed to CHLY 101.7 FM as part of your plan giving, we'd sure appreciate it if you wouldn't mind spending a couple of bucks our way. CHLY 101.7 FM depends on our community impact in order to keep this program and all programs that Chili Radio is known for on the air. So if you have, $5 you want to put towards us, reach out to Arby at CHLY 101.7 FM, or by all means, go to our website and find out more information on how you can become a member of our fabulous team. And if you really, really want to keep on going with what's on at Act 3, you can also find us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and of course, now on Rogers. And so I really appreciate when all of you tune in and listen to our program. Please like and subscribe and share, share, share. Meanwhile, my guest today, Jennifer Baker, on Act 3 here in the Zoom booth of CHOY 101.7 FM, is here with me to talk about all things wellness. So, On Track Wellness, Jennifer Baker, how are you again, my friend? Have you had a nice break there with my long time?
I know, right?
I gotta share all of the good. We've got such good stuff.
I love it. I love where all the different areas that you're getting to right now. I mean, you've done such a great job at
Thank you.
promoting and getting some amazing people on your show.
Well, I think it's really important that we share good messages, right? And I do believe that our community is only better when we know who is in it. And
Mhm.
so, there are a lot of people that have issues with wellness and they don't know where to go. Some people are nervous about going to massage therapists or having a massage at all. Others, once they've had one, they just can't wait to come back for the next one. I've personally been massaged by you and I loved it. The warmth and the comfort and just the overall feeling that I had while I was in your presence was so extraordinary. And so, for me, it's even more of a gift to be able to share it with our community because I know from personal experience just how wonderful you are. So, I want to go back to that for a little bit because you've also expanded not only your business offerings, but also you have such a cute and funky and wonderful little space on your property where you do this magnificent work. How about if you share a little bit about what it's like to be in your studio?
I love that. I love that because it really is like it's so hard to explain Raindrop and Endocrine because it's just really a complete package. So
It is. Yeah, absolutely it
um
is.
I used to do it in the house. I did it for years in the house. And then Paul and I, my husband, we had a fifth wheel. So it was at a rental property and we brought it onto our property here in the North End and we gutted it and we turned it into a spa.
Yeah.
And so it's really unique because it's kind of developed. So when we first brought it there, we built a deck on it. And so we are right on the tracks. So you can imagine where I got my name because we
I was
are
about to ask, I wondered whether or not the
on
on track
I
comes
know
directly from that.
on track wellness. My hairdresser and I thought that up, right?
Yeah.
because it's like we're on Green Lake, but we didn't want to be on Green Lake wellness. So we were on track wellness. And so then, so in the summertime, all the massages are outside, because the moment that we can get outside, you will get your massage on the deck. And it's, so then you go inside and it's like, it's dusty rose, and it's got tons and tons of crystals, because in the both massages you will also get crystal healing, so you get to pick out your own crystals, because it's better that your
Mhm,
body knows what it wants.
mhm.
And then you get the essential oils. It smells great in there. The diffuser is going. You get a card reading afterwards, and just like really just working on growing, right? We all need to grow and expand. And, I may not be for everybody, because maybe people are not at that stage and they want just a traditional normal
Mhm.
massage, but it is really unique. And then this last year, we built walls all around the spa. So you don't even know it's a fifth wheel. So you kind of come up the stairs and you go inside, and then you're like, whoa, right?
Yeah,
Because now
it's
it
very
looks like
woke.
yeah,
Yeah.
it actually looks like a building. So it's really a love in motion. It's for me, I'm just super proud of it. I'm super proud of myself, and becoming a healer, and wanting to just constantly grow. I don't want to stop. I just want to just be better.
Well, there's no doubt that your spa is extraordinary. We've just told people to go get a piece of paper and a pen. So now I think it's a great segue to give people the information on how they can book a spa treatment with you, or how they can reach you and ask questions. How would you like to share your information?
Okay, so my website, which is newly developed, is www.ontrackwellness.ca.
Easy.
Then easy, easy, easy. On Facebook, I'm On Track Wellness. On YouTube, which I'm starting to develop a YouTube channel to kind of give like really quick, little, easy videos on your health through essential oils.
Mhm.
And then my email is tatluv2@gmail.com. So
Perfect.
you can kind of go like through all of that. Like I said, I'm on the north end of Nanaimo, and I'm really easy to find. I'm like maybe 2 minutes off the highway. And yeah, it's a great experience. And you can just come for a card reading, or you could just come for astrology, because I became an astrologer, and really understanding about who you are through where your planets were when you were born. Great, great gift for somebody who's just had a baby to know actually their birth chart, which I find fascinating. They say there's not a book about your how to raise children, and I'm like, maybe.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up the astrology piece, and I'm glad that you brought up the tarot piece as well, or have a reading done. And so now's a great time for us to sort of unpack that a little bit, because, I personally love tarot. I use tarot as a guide. I think tarot can be a very wonderful gift to the spirit, if nothing else. But there's a positive element that is with most and all any tarot that I've experienced. There's been a positive moving forward, because there's sometimes, even if something not is not quite positive in your life, you can flip it because you've got a little pre-warning to sort of change the direction, right? So I'm curious, what got you started in tarot? Was there something that was, that you did you go to a reader and think, oh my God, this is fabulous? Or like, what happened for you for the reading part of it?
So I met some women by giving them raindrops that were in Young Living, and they introduced me to Dee from Crystal Quest. So when I went out to her shop, she had a ton of oracle card decks. Now I have some tarot, but I predominantly use oracle decks.
Mhm.
And I bought my first deck, which was an animal spirit deck by Colette Baron Reed. And I loved it. I just loved it. And I just started using it. And now, oh Lord, I have so many. I have so many. and it's just every single one of them gives different messages. So I started just this year in October actually doing oracle card journaling for
Mm,
myself, right? So I
interesting.
pull one card in the morning
Hmm.
and I read the guidebook. And
Hmm.
then I resonate with that and I think, okay, what is the message here? Why is it coming to me? But I don't journal about it until the following morning.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yes, it's
So you're a
been
bit day behind on it. So you have it, then you
brilliant.
live it for the day, right?
That's right. So then you get to really go, okay, how did that affect me? How did that reading go? What did I want to focus on? So I've been doing that now for since the middle of October. And have
Wow.
done two different ones. My first one was the animal oracle deck, and then the
Mhm.
one I'm doing right now is the and seven energies. So dealing really with all the chakras and all the energies that are going through your body. And I really, really have found it fascinating. I really wanted to start it to kind of get better at the decks because I have so many.
Mhm.
It kind of gets thinned out. So you need to
Sure.
really like focus in. I've never journaled before. And so the journaling has been really great, and it kind of really was reflective to how my planets were moving about why all of a sudden I became a journaler.
So it landed where it was supposed to and allowed you to open up another area of your life to explore that piece of it. Who knows where that exploration will take you, but how
Right?
wonderful, right? That you're able to do that. So then obviously you've gone from the cards, right, to go into astrology in itself. Do you do numerology as well or just astrology?
I have a couple of numerology oracle cards. I have not really dug deep into it like
Okay.
some numerologists.
Yeah.
So I kind of like I started with the moon, right? Like
Hmm.
this is like one of my moonology decks. I have
Hmm.
like three from the same author. And then I got her Mercury retrograde book, and then I got an astrology book. And then I really started finding that the oracle cards themselves had the component in them about astrology. So then I decided um, to take an astrology course. It was one of those things that it was quite expensive,
Hmm.
and it was kind of outside of my realm because it's a lot of information, and I was like really worried that I wasn't going to get it. But I just dig into it every day. I listen to many audibles about astrology, and then I took my astrology course with Debra Silverman.
Hmm.
And so I love doing readings. I just find that it's very fascinating how the different planets are going to affect you in your life, and how your sun, moon, and rising sign really have great indicators on who you are and why you do what you do.
Absolutely. From astrology perspective, I do know that a lot of people find that they need to have their actual birth date, birth time to get the
Correct.
most accurate version. But is there, if you don't know what time you were born, are you still able to get a good picture if you have the date
Oh,
and the age, right? You could still get a fair
of
amount.
course, of course.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what it does is it just kind of basically changes like where your rising sign is, right?
sure.
But the interesting thing, and what I've done a couple of times, is
Mhm.
that I've done pendulum dowsing to find
What
the
is
birth
pendulum
time.
dowsing? To be
So
safe, what is that?
with pendulums, hold on, let's see.
I for our listeners that can't hear this, we'll just make sure we describe or can't see this, we'll just make sure we're
Yeah.
describing it really well. But
So that's a pendulum.
so a pendulum is a chain with usually a crystal or an object on the bottom of it of
That's
sorts,
right.
and it moves in
You ask
circles
questions,
and
right?
you ask questions to it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you would ask, here I have Kathy Holmes with me today, and I would like to know this is her birth date,
Hmm.
and we want to know was she born in the AM? and it'll
Mm,
tell me yes or no, right? Was she
mhm.
born in the PM? It'll tell me yes or no. Then once I get to PM, then I can break it down. Was she born from, 12 to 6 p.m.? Yes or
Oh,
no? And then you just take it down and you go all the way down and get into the minutes, and then you get into the seconds, and then you can do a birth chart.
wow. So so really the pendulum can actually give you the answers you're looking for for some more. How do you navigate the accuracy of these? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love pendulum. I'm open to all of this, but
Yep.
I know that there's skeptics out there that don't believe in any of this stuff. So let's
Skeptics
be
of
honest
everything.
about it, right?
Yeah.
There's always a skeptic, right?
Yeah.
So how do you navigate and again, obviously this is it's people's preference, right? We're not trying to do
Oh,
anything other than that, right? But to be clear, to be clear, there is something to be said for people. There's a science to much of this work.
oh,
And
yes. I took a pendulum course,
yeah, yeah. So it's
right?
not like you're
And
just making it up.
no, and it's fascinating how, I mean, if you're into it,
Mhm.
and I think that the people that were going to come to me are going to be people that are already into divination
Absolutely.
and into tools and understanding, right? And
Yeah.
then you basically, once you get down to that birth time and everything, and then so you would do the pendulum
Mhm.
first,
Sure.
because of course it takes a while, and then I would do the birth chart, and then you would just kind of go through that and go, how does that resonate with you? How does that feel now, knowing what
Mhm.
your rising sign is? And so let's say, for me, I my rising sign is a Gemini. Well,
And what's your birth sign?
I'm a Libra
Libra with a Gemini rising.
and a Taurus moon.
Now the moon is opposite of the sun, therefore, is it opposite in the chart as well? No, it
Nope.
doesn't work that
The
way.
moon
Okay.
the moon is not opposite,
Actually,
or
it's not opposite. That's true.
it could be in your same sun sign. It could be anywhere. It's just all now. So you will know that everything planetary wise you can do with just your birth date and your location.
Yeah.
But the rising sign and the changing of the houses is most accurate with your birth time. Moon is emotions. Rising sign is kind of like what you're rising up to be and kind of what the outside world sees. The sun sign is who you are truly in your soul, right? So when I found that I was a Gemini rising, which is they just love to learn, they're always on the go, they're always on the moon and move, I was really like, okay, that totally makes sense to me.
Hmm. And so the clients that come to you, the participants that come and take have a reading done or have their astrological charts laid out, I'm getting the word wrong, I'm sure
Endocrine.
thank you, endocrine massage or raindrop massage, when they put that whole package together and they start to have these aha moments, that must be for you such incredible validation of this work, right? Like it
Oh,
just must be heavenly.
it's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's why I work so hard at this and push so hard, is because
Mhm.
I want people to know that there's all different ways of maybe not doing it the traditional way, and getting great results. I love my community. I have some
Mhm.
some women that have been coming to me every single month for years, and they become friends, and to see the growth that they've had and the growth
Yes.
we've done together, is you cannot have anything better. I just love it. I love it. I want more of it. That's why I'm here.
Well, and I also love the fact that you're one of those kind of people that you share it. Once you have it, you share it. And that I think
Yep.
is the element for anything successful. I also want to talk and just throw a bone out here for you, or not a bone, but a piece of recognition and acknowledgement. The bone is probably a slang that I shouldn't have used, but like really, really, you know where I'm coming. The
Yeah.
good news is we're friends, so it's okay if I mess it
Yeah.
up in public. We would do this, and if we were in person together. But one of the things I really value is that you're such a great gift to the community, because when you not only do you put your 150% into everything that it is that you do, but you also give back to community, and you do that with women helping women and other fundraisers that are in town. You're always there to lend a helping hand, and I just think that in itself is such a great gift, because when you know more, you do more, you share more, you can gift more. And so I'm just really grateful that you are also giving back to community. It's a pretty cool way to be.
There are so many people in need, and there are so, yeah, and it's getting harder and harder as things get more and more expensive. And to be able to give back and do whatever I can. I love doing the fundraisers. And yeah, then I'm a women helping women, of course, is very I don't know. I really Carrie Isham has done an amazing
Really
job.
has. Yeah.
She really has.
Mhm.
She pours herself into that fund, or that community. So if I can assist in any way, I do. And yeah, I mean, Salvation Army, I do a Pride fundraiser, I do Red Cross. Like, I kind of change every month. I do something every month with either donating a service that the money goes to the fundraiser, and or I donate my commission through Epicure for that fundraiser, just to make sure that people in need get some need.
Well, I'm super glad you do that, and that's why we're going to now talk about a little bit of the Epicure side of what you do. So, just for a quick station identification, as we do that little bit of a transition, we're nearly done the program. We've just got a few minutes left. So, if you just tuned in, thanks for tuning in to CHLY 101.7 FM here in Nanaimo. My guest is Jennifer Baker, and she is extraordinary. Her business is On Track Wellness. She does everything she can to make it a better place in this community for you and for me. Thanks for being here, Jennifer. Um, I want to just go to the Epicure thing, because I got to be honest with you. I had no idea what that was until a few years ago. A friend of mine also does Epicure. Irene Morrison is also a wonderful gift to this community. And so she does it also. But I I didn't really know what it was, because it's such an interesting name, like Epicure. You would think you were getting your nails done, or think
Yeah.
that you're like, it just didn't dawn on me. Tell us a little bit about what Epicure is, how you got involved in it, and what are some of the things you love about it.
So Epicure is a company from Victoria. It
Mhm.
is a female run company. It is in its 25th year. Okay.
Wow.
Beautiful. North Saanich. And it is a company that is all about healthy eating economically, and being, it gives you ideas all the time. So it's kind of like trying to get you out of the kitchen
Mhm.
and giving you ideas on how to feed your family healthy and economically. So low sugar, low salt, no fillers. The company is brilliant, and it was part of my getting rid of all of the chemicals in my body, because there's a lot of fillers in food that just is not honoring us.
Absolutely. So many chemicals.
So many. So I kind of got involved in 2018, not thinking to do the business at all. I was strictly at that time building Young Living, and so you can, they're direct sales companies, right? So you shouldn't build two direct sales companies. So then I decided to not build Young Living as a business, and to focus more on Raindrop as a healer. And Epicure came in. I bought the kit. I used it strictly for myself to get a discounted product by becoming
Mhm.
an ambassador. And
Mhm.
then when COVID hit, I lost my jobs and couldn't do massage. And so everybody was eating at home. So I'm a chef by trade. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. And I became very successful, became
Very
a
much so.
leader. yeah, with Epicure, because of course now I know, I mean, I know a lot about food, I know a lot about cooking, so I could give that aspect of it to my business as well.
Mhm.
And I've just really enjoyed it. Now, I don't necessarily build Epicure as to, become like just that solely. It now
Of
has come
course.
under my umbrella of On Track Wellness.
Yeah.
And it is just, it's a brilliant company. Like, they are always coming out with new innovations. Their cookware is phenomenal. And it's like literally they have got so many different meal solutions and dips and spices that make your life easier when it comes to cooking. So we are 100% gluten free and nut-free facility. So we are really looking at different allergy intolerances and always constantly thinking about how to do it better.
Well, and I'm glad that you said the about the allergies and pieces as well, and taking that into account, because I think that with so many things that are in the food that we're eating today, unless we're growing it in the backyard ourselves or we're raising the animals for which we choose to imbibe in, or fishing, out of our yard, which doesn't happen, obviously. How do we know that we're putting the great things into our body that we need to be putting into it?
Right? Like, and I think that what's happening is that the companies, uh, and I don't want to think that they're really doing ill by us, but they're trying to stay in business. So what they're doing is they're putting more filler into their product so that it helps their bottom line.
Yeah, so it's less
Where,
expensive on the shelf. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, right.
Bottom line.
And so Epicure does the exact opposite. They will not put any filler in it at all. So it has to come from earth. And yeah, I just stand behind them like huge.
Hmm.
Like, and when I watch what they do for the community and the amount of food that they donate to food banks, it's it's astrological. And it's a mother-daughter business, and Amelia, who is the CEO, is Sylvie's daughter, and she's always giving back to the community and just really spiritual herself and really wanting the ambassadors to grow as well, right? So it's not always just about Epicure as a direct sales company growing. She really wants people that are doing it ethically.
Absolutely. And I think that where you fit into this is you're a very ethical person in all of the things that you do. So of course there's a perfect match for you there.
Mhm.
So I am, people these days have struggled with any number of different issues. We all have stress. We all have, things in our lives that make things a little bit more difficult, but we also have a lot of positivity that's around us if we just take the moment to take a good look at it. So I'm going to ask you, I mean, obviously we're coming nearer to the end of the show. And as we do that, life lesson is going to be, I'm going to ask you that in a few minutes. But before we get just to that piece, I'm curious about the things for you as a method of gratitude to the universe, right? These are
Mhm.
the things that you do daily, hourly, weekly. What does your personal practice look like? And what would you recommend for a personal practice for people to
Mm.
begin when they just don't know where to start?
Wow. Now that's a great question. Okay, so I really, really love the oracle cards. I mean,
Mhm,
I love to be able to say that I'm a good meditator and that I do that as a practice. I think that that's something that you should really try. And I
mhm,
do try. I'm just not really, really good at it. And so that's one thing that I always try to be better at.
mhm,
Journaling, um, definitely always saying thank you, right? Like, whenever something goes great in my world, I say thank you to the universe. When I'm journaling, I say thank you. When people give me great advice, being mentors to me, I say thank you. I really think synchronicity and looking for signs and why are they there. And even through hardship with
mhm.
death and rebirth. When something goes wrong, there's a reason, that there's a lesson there that is needed to be had. And we say thank you for that lesson. And we now take it into our heart and hope that we can help others by walking that path beforehand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
changes. I'm constantly changing. Like, that's why I said that's a really hard one, because I did vision boards for years, and then this year I decided not to do a vision board, but to do the journaling and have a vision daily.
Yes, yes.
I really, really want to try to be the best mentor I can to any women that are wanting just to talk to me, just to get some growth, get a little bit different perspective from some of the challenges that I've gone through in my life, which has been many. So I have lots of, I guess, lessons to talk to people about, because I've kind of traveled that path. Path
Mm-hmm.
was not always easy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
I'm just taking that all in, just as a breath, which gives me a wonderful opportunity for this segue of how do people sit down and have a conversation with you?
Hmm.
What's the best way for people to reach you, to book a massage, to do a reading? How should people reach you? I do know that you've already given it out once, but if you want to give out that information again, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I would go, go through email, tatluv2 at gmail.com. But also, you know what? Like, friend me on Facebook and go through Messenger. Like, join my Facebook group and reach out there. Like, I have do tons of different things on my Facebook group, because of course, like, I make these amazing prisms as well, and I do
Yes.
memorial prisms, and I've now started doing ones with moons and yogas and chakras, so that you can, and then and now started to do astrology ones. So there's just so many things that are there. And so, yeah, there's so many ways to get hold of me. Jennifer Baker on Facebook.
Perfect. Jennifer Baker on Facebook. And for those of you who missed the program, it will be in the chat box that you'll find on our YouTube upload of this conversation. Jennifer, it has been absolutely fantastic having you on the program today. Thank you so much for being here as we close out the show today. I always ask my favorite question, which is if you had an opportunity to imbibe a little piece of wisdom to our community about the things you do, the things you love, things that are in your life, what might that look like for you today?
I love being able to give assistance to people that are just struggling, and they need to know that somebody's here to listen, and somebody's here to just give you space. Sometimes we just need to have space and love on people, and stop always thinking that there has to be a motive behind it, because when you do the right things, the right people will come into your life.
They always do. They absolutely always do.
The
Jennifer Bay,
universe makes sure. The universe makes sure.
always, always. And gratitude's a great way to begin. When we thank the universe for some of the small things, big things begin to happen all of the time, at least in my experience anyway.
100%.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program today,
Thank
Jennifer. Thank
you.
you so much for being with us here on Act Three. We'll see you next time for sure. If you have just tuned in to Act Three on CHLY 101.7 FM, you'll have to tune in again next week at 1 o'clock. We'll see you at that time to share more information with our community. We're super glad that we're here for you. Please do make sure that you like and subscribe our program on YouTube, and check us out on iHeartRadio and Spotify, as well, of course, as every Monday right here on CHLY 101.7 FM.